Hello friends, this is Santosh Jangi and welcome back to the simplified chemistry class. And today we are focusing on the P block elements of the 12th standard related to the NEET exam. So we are going to concentrate first on group of 15 elements. Group 15 elements generally called as nitrogen family. We are not discussing anything basics related to the classification, definition, etc. Okay. Directly we are focusing on some of the important concepts which are very useful for solving the questions in competitive exams. Group 15 elements are generally known as a nitrogen family. It is because the first element of group 15, it's nothing but the nitrogen. Group 15 starts with nitrogen. After nitrogen we have phosphorus. Then we are having arsenic, antimony and bismuth. So these are the 5 elements which are present in the group 15. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. Since the group starts with nitrogen, we are calling the family as a nitrogen family. All these elements are having valence shell electronic configuration as ns2, np3. It's very easy to remember the valence shell electronic configuration based on the number of a group. You can see the group number 15. This 5 corresponds to number of valence electrons, outermost electrons. Look at the number of valence electrons. N indicates the valence shell. We are having 5 valence electrons, 2 in ns and 3 in np. Totally 5 valence electrons we are getting. So this is how we can give the valence shell electronic configuration. Now let us concentrate on some physical properties with respect to group of 15 elements. When we move from nitrogen to bismuth, look at the properties we are considering. First, we consider atomic size. And after this, we are considering ionization energy, electronegativity, metallic character. Atomic size, it goes on increasing down the group. In periodic table, atomic size goes on increasing. Similarly, from nitrogen to bismuth, atomic size goes on increasing. With increase in atomic size, we know this. Ionization energy goes on decreasing. Electronegativity also goes on decreasing. Metallic character goes on increasing. So these are the 4 important periodic properties we have to remember. Atomic size, ionization energy, electronegativity and metallic character. By this you can easily guess. Remember, nitrogen, phosphorus are the non-metals, arsenic, antimony are the metalloids and bismuth is the metal. I repeat, nitrogen, phosphorus are the non-metals, arsenic, antimony are the metalloids and bismuth is the metal. It shows that metallic character goes on increasing from nitrogen to bismuth. Now after this, let us see how to write the oxidation state. We can write the oxidation state of group 15 elements easily based on the valence shell electronic configuration. See, for completing the octet, all these elements require 3 electrons. 5 electrons in the valence shell and we require 3 electrons for completing the octet. See, if the element is gaining 3 electrons, it will be converting to anion with a charge 3-. Octet gets completed. So we are getting one oxidation state, negative oxidation state, it is nothing but the 3-. If suppose the element is losing 3 electrons from the np orbital, 3 electrons are lost from the np orbital, element gets a charge of 3+. And if the element is losing 5 electrons from both ns and np orbital, element gets a charge of 5+. See, we are getting 2 more oxidation states, 3+ and 5+. 3+ oxidation state we are getting due to the loss of np electrons. 5+ oxidation state we are getting due to the loss of ns and np electrons. Nitrogen and phosphorus are readily showing all the oxidation states from 3- to 5+. Due to high electronegativity, see, nitrogen and phosphorus these two elements are showing all the oxidation states from -3 to +5 due to high electronegativity and small size. But some other elements, if you take the other members of the group, they may show -3 oxidation state, 3 plus, 5 plus, based on their electronegativity and some other factors based on the compound also. Okay. Now, when we focus on 3 plus and 5 plus oxidation state, see, as we move from nitrogen to bismuth, stability of the 3 plus oxidation state goes on increasing and 5 plus oxidation state goes on decreasing due to an important effect called inert pair effect. It means inner NS electrons are not involved in the bonding process. Only outer NP electrons are involved in the bonding process. So this is about the oxidation state. After learning some physical properties, now we are going to focus on chemical properties of group 15 elements. First chemical property, reaction with hydrogen. When the group 15 element, if I take E as the group 15 element, when they react with the hydrogen, we are getting corresponding hydrides with the formula EH3. Look at the structure of EH3. It is having a pyramidal structure. So this is a pyramidal structure with an orbital containing lone pair. Due to the presence of this lone pair, definitely these compounds are capable of donating the lone pair and act as the Lewis bases. So these are capable of acting as a Lewis bases. Now see the compounds. In place of E, if I take NHN, I will be getting NH3, ammonia, phosphorus is giving phosphine, arsine formed by arsenic, antimony forms stibine, bismuthine is formed by bismuth. So these are the compounds we are getting from group 15 elements when they react with the hydrogen. Now let us move from ammonia to bismuthine. When we are moving from ammonia to bismuthine, there is a variation of some important properties. We go for learning all the properties one by one. Out of all these hydrides, only one hydride is water soluble. Remaining all hydrides are water insoluble. Ammonia is the only one compound which is water soluble due to hydrogen bonding. Only 3 elements are capable of forming hydrogen bonds in the periodic table. You know that. Fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen. Due to hydrogen bonding, ammonia is water soluble. Remaining all hydrides are water insoluble. When you concentrate on the boiling point depends on van der Waals attractive forces. As the van der Waals attractive forces go on increasing, definitely boiling point goes on increasing. Van der Waals forces, they depend on molecular mass. Now when we move from ammonia to bismuthine, molecular mass goes on increasing due to increase in the atomic mass of the element. With increase in the van der Waals attractive forces, boiling point goes on increasing. Molecular mass increases, with that van der Waals forces increase, which results in increase in the boiling point. But you see there is a small change. When you look at the boiling point variation, phosphine boiling point is less than arsine, arsine less than ammonia, ammonia less than stibine, stibine less than bismuthine. Ammonia we are expecting to be present in the beginning of the series, but we are getting this ammonia in the middle due to hydrogen bonding. When you concentrate on the melting point of all these hydrides, see the melting point. Phosphine melting point is less than arsine. Arsine melting point is less than stibine, and stibine melting point is less than ammonia. We have left bismuthine. It's not existing in the solid state. Ammonia is showing highest melting point. Once again, we are giving the same reason, hydrogen bonding. Solubility, boiling point and melting point we have taken. Now when we move from ammonia to bismuthine, size of the central atom goes on increasing. When we move from ammonia to bismuthine, size of the central atom goes on increasing. With increase in the size of the central atom, bond pairs are moving away from the central atom. Since the bond pairs are moving away from the central atom, bond pair repulsion goes on decreasing. Due to decrease in bond pair repulsion, bond angle goes on decreasing. So from ammonia to bismuthine, from ammonia to bismuthine, bond angle goes on decreasing. As the size of the central atom goes on increasing, lone pair occupies more area on the central atom. Hence, it will not be available for easier donation. When the lone pair cannot be donated easily by the compound, definitely basic character goes on decreasing. So, which is the strongest base? Basic character decreases. We can take ammonia as the strongest base compared to all these hydrides. Next property we take. When we move from ammonia to bismuthine, element hydrogen bond strength. Element hydrogen bond strength, it goes on decreasing. Due to decrease in element hydrogen bond strength, it's related to once again the size. Element size increases from nitrogen to bismuth, therefore element hydrogen bond strength goes on decreasing. As a result, thermal stability towards heat, thermal stability goes on decreasing. Due to decrease in thermal stability, reducing character goes on increasing. Reducing character increases. So which is the strongest reducing agent out of these hydrides? Due to decrease in element hydrogen bond strength, thermal stability decreases, reducing character goes on increasing. So from ammonia to bismuthine, when you consider the compounds, bismuthine is the strongest reducing agent. Apart from this, even you can take the dipole moment. When we move from ammonia to bismuthine, dipole moment, it goes on decreasing. Dipole moment decreases. Dipole moment is decreasing due to decrease in electronegativity of the central atom. So this is how we can explain the reaction with the hydrogen. Let us go for the next chemical property, reaction with oxygen. When the group 15 elements are reacting with oxygen, they are giving corresponding oxides. Now we are going to make a table by considering all these factors. First column let us take for oxidation state. Second column is for nitrogen oxides. We are going to continue like this: phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, and bismuth we are taking. So like this we are going to make a table. +1 oxidation state, only nitrogen is forming the oxide with the +1 oxidation state, and the formula is N2O. +2 oxidation state, here also we are getting oxide by only nitrogen, it's NO. +3 oxidation state, all the elements are giving oxides now. For nitrogen we can write it as N2O3, phosphorus P4O6, arsenic AS4O6, this is Sb4O6, and this is Bi2O3. For +4 oxidation state, only nitrogen is giving the oxide, even phosphorus also. And in +5 oxidation state, we are getting oxides of nitrogen, even bismuth, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony. Bismuth is not at all forming the pentoxide. So this is a table in which we have taken oxides of nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. Let us concentrate on the properties. Acidic property of the oxides is directly proportional to electronegativity, and it is also directly proportional to oxidation state. As the electronegativity goes on decreasing, acidic character goes on decreasing. It means bismuth oxide, if you take this bismuth trioxide, it becomes definitely basic and it is a metal oxide. Arsenic antimony oxides, trioxides are amphoteric, as arsenic and antimony are metalloids, And if you take the oxides of nitrogen phosphorus, these are acidic. When we move from nitrogen to bismuth, electronegativity goes on decreasing. With that, acidic character goes on decreasing. Apart from this, if you take N2O, N2O, these two are neutral. Remaining all nitrogen oxides are acidic. N2O are neutral because of the oxidation state. So based on the oxidation state, we can say N2O are neutral. N2O3, NO2, N2O5, these are all acidic. When you concentrate on the oxidizing property, it all depends on oxidation state. Increases with increase in oxidation state. It means pentoxides are stronger oxidizing agents than compared to trioxides. Look at the stability of the oxides. Let us take the stability of a pentoxide. When you consider the stability of a pentoxide, P2O5 is more stable than, you can write P4O10, it is more stable than AS2O5, and this is more stable than Sb2O5, and this is more stable than N2O5. You can write the formula for P2O5 as a P4O10. Similarly, for arsenic and antimony. Now, based on the stability order, you can easily predict the oxidizing power, oxidizing capacity. Now, see the oxidizing property. N2O5 is a stronger oxidizing agent than Sb2O5. And this is a stronger oxidizing agent than As2O5. This is a stronger oxidizing agent than P2O5. P2O5 cannot act as an oxidizing agent. So, which is the strongest oxidizing agent? It is N2O5. Let us go for the third chemical property, reaction with the halogen. When the group 15 elements are reacting with halogen, they form trihalides and pentahalides. Trihalides are having formula EX3. Pentahalides are having formula EX5. E corresponds to the group 15 element. Look at the structure of the trihalide. Once again, they are having pyramidal structure. E is the central atom. X corresponds to halogen. And we have one orbital with a lone pair. I am going to write all the trihalides formed of the group 15 elements. First for nitrogen, NF3, NCl3, NBr3, Ni3. NF3, NCl3, NBr3, Ni3. Similarly for phosphorus, we are writing the halides. It continues. We can write the halides for even arsenic, antimony and bismuth. This continues. When you concentrate on the structure of the trihalides, they are having once again a pyramidal structure with a lone pair on the central atom. Now, stability of the trihalide depends on EX bond strength. EX bond strength depends on the electronegativity of the halogen. As the electronegativity of the halogen goes on decreasing, it means as the size goes on increasing, as the size of halogen goes on increasing, element halogen bond strength decreases, with that stability goes on decreasing. It means fluorides are more stable halides than compared to chlorides, and chlorides are more stable than bromides and iodides. Therefore, NF3 is the only stable trihalide formed by nitrogen. NCl3 is an explosive, and when you look at NBr3, Ni3, these are existing only in the ammonia as corresponding ammoniates. NBr3, Ni3, they are existing as corresponding ammoniates. They form compounds with ammonia and existing only in the ammonia medium. Now when we move from NF3 to BiF3, electronegativity of the central atom goes on decreasing. Now see, with respect to that electronegativity, we are predicting some important properties. NF3 and PF3 will not be hydrolyzed. When we move from NF3 to BiF3, NF3 and PF3 are the trihalides which will not be hydrolyzed. Remember the reason for this. In nitrogen, we don't have d orbital in the valence shell due to non-availability of d orbital in the valence shell. NF3 will not undergo hydrolysis. PF bonds are stronger covalent bonds. Therefore, PF3 will not undergo hydrolysis. And when you compare the hydrolysis of NCl3, PCl3, etc., just look at the order. NCl3 hydrolyzed easily than compared to PCl3, and this undergoes hydrolysis easily than compared to ASCl3. It undergoes hydrolysis easily than SbCl3, and this undergoing hydrolysis easily than compared to BiCl3. Remember this order and remember these two compounds on a hydrolysis reaction. Due to the presence of lone pair on the central atom, the compounds trihalides are capable of acting as Lewis bases. And you see the basic character of all these trihalides. Basic character of the trihalides, it depends on electronegativity of the halogen. As the electronegativity of the halogen goes on decreasing, basic character goes on increasing. It means if I compare NF3, NCl3, NBr3, Ni3, NF3 is less basic than NCl3, this is less basic than NBr3, and this is less basic than compared to Ni3. Not only this, except nitrogen trihalides, remaining all trihalides can act as Lewis acids. They are capable of accepting a lone pair. They have d orbital in the valence shell. Because of d orbital in the valence shell, all these compounds are capable of accepting lone pair. As a result, they act as Lewis acids. Now see, the Lewis acid strength. Lewis acid strength, it all depends on electronegativity of E as well as electronegativity of X. Electronegativity of E as well as electronegativity of X. With increase in the electronegativity of either element or the halogen, acidic character, Lewis acid strength goes on increasing. It means if I take NF3, PF3, ASF3 and SBF3, NF3, living NF3, PF3 is more acidic than ASF3, and this is more acidic than SBF3. This is more acidic than compared to BiF3. And if you compare the halides of trihalides of phosphorus, see, phosphorus trihalide is more acidic than phosphorus trichloride. Phosphorus trifluoride is more acidic than phosphorus trichloride. This is more acidic than PBr3, and this is more acidic than PI3. This is about the trihalides. Even we have some study on pentahalides, but pentahalides are not that important compared to trihalides. Okay, let us go for MCQs on 15 elements. Look at the first question. Both NF3 and NCl3 are covalent, but they differ in the extent of hydrolysis because NF3 is more stable than NCl3, and hydrolysis products of NF3, HFO, does not exist. Dipole moment of NF3 is greater than NCl3. Electronegativity of fluorine more than Cl. Cl can expand octet using d orbitals. And for this, you know the correct option, it's nothing but the option A. NF3 is more stable than compared to NCl3, and also HFO, hypofluorous acid, does not exist. So we are going to mark option A. Field, and we call them as paramagnetic. Normally, the molecules or ions with an odd number of electrons are paramagnetic. Apart from this, you remember oxygen, O2, if I take, in O2, oxygen atomic number is 8. In one molecule, we have 2 atoms of oxygen. Therefore, total number of electrons present in O2 is 16. Even though we are getting even number of electrons, O2 is paramagnetic. Not only O2, even O2 plus is paramagnetic. Leaving that, N2 is diamagnetic. And if you take N2 plus becomes a paramagnetic. Okay, look at the options. Option A. In option A, we have NO. Number of electrons in NO. Total number of electrons in NO. 7 plus 8, 15. Odd number of electrons. Therefore, definitely NO is paramagnetic. NO2, if I take 16 plus 7, we are getting 23. Therefore, it is paramagnetic. Similarly, if I take O2, O2 contains 16 electrons. I told you O2 is a paramagnetic molecule. Therefore, we go for option A. Option A includes all molecules as a paramagnetic molecule. So this is the question number 2. Let us go for question number 3. Look at the question number 3. Both boron trifluoride and nitrogen trifluoride are covalent, but boron trifluoride is non-polar, whereas nitrogen trifluoride is polar because option A, boron is a metal, nitrogen is non-metal. Of course, both are non-metals. B, boron fluorine bonds have no dipole moment, but nitrogen fluorine bonds have dipole moment. C, atomic size of boron is smaller than nitrogen. D, boron trifluoride is planar, but nitrogen trifluoride is pyramidal. So this is the main reason for dipole moment. Boron trifluoride is planar. As a result, bond dipoles they get cancelled with the resultant dipole moment. Whereas NF3 is having pyramidal structure, therefore we are getting net dipole moment in nitrogen trifluoride. Let us go for the fourth question now. Which of the following is the most unstable? Stability of trihalide, it mainly depends on element halogen bond strength, and with increase in the size of the halogen element, halogen bond strength goes on decreasing. Now see, we can easily mark the option as Ni3, nitrogen triiodide is the most unstable trihalide. Go for the fifth question. Which of the following is the strongest reducing agent? This also I have told you in the theory part. The strongest reducing agent out of the given options is option D, SbH3, due to least thermal stability. Look at the sixth question. Dipole moment of group 15 hydrides decreases in the order of, you know this also I told you, dipole moment when we compare with the group 15 hydrides, ammonia more than phosphine, phosphine more than arsine, arsine more than stibine, stibine more than bismuthine. As the electronegativity of the central atom goes on decreasing, dipole moment goes on decreasing. It means it's option C. Seventh one, the ease of hydrolysis of trifluorides, even this I have explained, of group 15 elements decreases in the order of nitrogen trichloride is more than compared to phosphorus trichloride, that is more than compared to arsenic trichloride, this is more than compared to SbCl3, and it is more than compared to BiCl3. It means we can take option A. Look at the 8th question. Maximum bond angle is found in which of the trihalides? Bond angle in the trihalides, it mainly increases with increase in the size of halogen. As the size of the halogen goes on increasing, bond angle goes on increasing. On that basis, we can say Pi3 shows a maximum bond angle. 9th one. Which of the following is the strongest oxidizing agent? You know about that. I have told you about the pentoxides. N2O5 is the strongest oxidizing agent. Last question. Which of the following is the most stable pentoxide? And that also I told you P2O5, phosphorus pentoxide, is the most stable pentoxide.